So let's just go through data fusion from a standard module perspective. So this is the module that everybody gets. It is the first module on the platform. So the controls and everything that you see here, everybody gets access to all of those. This is primarily suited to companies that don't use bill of materials or job cards or kits, but do want to receive their orders, possibly have multiple stores, possibly have lot tracking. Those are both optional, and as well as being able to reserve stock from a sales perspective. So in a nutshell, what will happen, you will go and configure all of your items and your stores, link your items to stores. Internal processes, we will get to that just now about why those are beneficial to set those up. Your roles and descriptions, so all of your configuration will take place from here. Now remembering, Sage is your golden source of information. You cannot capture POs or sales orders in here. When you log in here and you go to the purchase orders or the sales order screen, it will pull your orders directly from Sage as per what they are at the moment that you open it. Alright, the same goes with your bundles. If you do have any bundles that you operate in Sage, they will pull through here automatically. With regards to your items, it will pull all of your items through with your Sage quantity on hand, your current quantity on hand in Data Fusion, and any quantity picked. And as you can see, there's no red flags here. So what it's saying is this 124 on hand, these 3 on pick and slip, equally 127 that are in Sage. And for each item, you can set up as it's a finished item, the stores, the quantities, multiple barcodes, item movement history, etc. So your item configuration is obviously important. You can set up your stores, which ones you want and which ones you don't. You can add and remove stores, link items to stores. The rest of it you can play around with. So let's go and have a look at the functionality now. You have receiving. So when you go to receiving, it will pull up all of your current purchase orders. You'll open the purchase order and it has all the regular receiving information where you'll put in your the delivery note number or the invoice number, the date, and you will then click on it and you'll say, I've received X number. I've received 17 and I'm going to receive them into that store, and you save and continue. On doing that, there's a very lightly colored note here that you will see. When receiving is complete, the system will generate an unpaid supply invoice in Sage. Verification and payment processing must be done in Sage and not from here. So basically we're going to say I'm received 17. It will highlight if there are variations into the raw materials store. And as soon as we now go receive and generate, it will adjust these quantities in Sage itself, as well as here, and it will receive the items into stock. Alright, so from a purchase order perspective, what you can also do is you can go to, you've got access to purchase order tracking. The purchase order tracking basically tracks all items that are on purchase order that haven't been delivered, but that are interrogated down to line level. So these are on purchase order, and you can then filter and sort looking for a purchase order, for an item, for a supplier, for a reference, whatever the case is, and you can find out here what is happening from an item level perspective, and you can then decide whatever you want to do with that information from there. So the main difference is this screen is your purchase order headers that have not been received yet, and tracking is, and remembering please, this is test data, so some things may not align. This is purely for demonstration purposes. We can't be showing live data for obviously confidentiality reasons. So the big difference with this screen is this screen shows the item done at item level, whereas the previous screen shows at header level. You can show and hide completed, started. You can filter down to confirmed and overdue, or whatever the case is. So you can filter out to whatever you want here and go and find particular orders. So it's very simple to navigate around. Right, let's go to sales orders. You can obviously navigate everywhere from both the dashboard or from the system tree down the left hand side. From a sales order perspective, when you have a sales order, you will then create a picking slip from that sales order. And the big trigger and thing that happens when you convert a sales order to a picking slip is that it reserves the stock. So in this instance, let's take this cash sale. We've got this chair. We need 2. That's our pricing as per Sage. We're going to go create picking slip. Yes. And the system will now generate a picking slip. And under normal circumstances, that will now get issued to a picker. And if you are the kind of business where you want to generate a paper picking slip for somebody to pick, you can go to print preview, and you have a paper picking slip which you can issue to somebody for them to go and pick. And they will then fill out this paperwork, and they will return it to whoever's capturing this particular information. So what we have now is we have a sales order linked to a picking slip, and a picking slip that we have now distributed into the warehouse for picking. Once it's been picked, we'll skip to this one here. Once it's been picked, we will open the sales order, and we will update Sage, in which case this information will be sent to Sage from an updating perspective, saying that these 2 items have been picked and they will be removed from stock. Alright, one of the functions that the system has is picking slip tracking. My apologies. Before we get to picking slip tracking, we can go to sales order tracking. In this instance, I don't have any partially invoiced sales orders, so I'm going to quickly pop in a different profile for you to just see how it works. So from this particular profile, here's an example. You'll see that the customers in that are blurred out, so they can't be seen. But the concept is that when you're tracking your sales orders, you can see that for this particular line, the sales order quantity is 20. We've generated 1 invoice with 6 items that have been invoiced. There's 14 that still need to be invoiced. And clicking on the little green plus will show the invoice number that is relevant to those. In this instance, there are 2 invoices, and we will see there are 2 invoices that have been generated. So from a sales order tracking perspective, very easy to see a quantity outstanding and which invoices have been generated on a particular sales order. So we're just going to put that one away, and we're going to come back here. So coming back here, we now have picking slip tracking. Now in your configuration, you will be able to set up various statuses of your picking slip. These are the default ones that have been set up. And this is very useful if your warehouse is in a different location to where the admin is taking place. So in this instance, I can sit in one location, and when somebody else moves this particular picking slip from here to packed and they move it, I can now see it at whichever office I am at. So very useful for keeping an eye on the progress of all picking slips, and you can also filter out to whichever picking slips are due before a specific date, and one can then track where that picking slip is and if it is going to be dispatched on the due date. So picking slip tracking perspective may not initially seem like something that is useful, but it can be very useful should you set it up and configure it correctly. From a stock control perspective, you've already seen your outstanding purchase orders, your incomplete sales orders. You can do a warehouse transfer, stock adjustment. You can view your stock movement. So let's go and have a look at I think there's been some movement on the orange bicycle. And you can see here that this was the opening balance. We then moved 5 from raw materials to finished goods. There's the opposite side of the transaction. And we've then got that many on a picking slip. So in that finished goods, we started with 5. We've now taken 3 out on a picking slip, so we have a balance of 2. We had 127 that started. We took 5 out, so we have a balance of 122 left in that store. So there's a full audit trail of the movement of all of the stock. And to see stock balances, one can go to here, and what you have is a pivot table type environment where the platform will show you that for here you have 2 items sitting in finished goods. You have 122 sitting in raw materials, so you have a total of 124. And then stock counts. So this is where you will set up stock counts, and you will complete stock counts, and the system will do these stock adjustments accordingly. Right, so the last feature that is available, which is incredibly powerful, is your finished goods demands. So what the finished goods demands will take into account will be all of your stock movements, basically from purchase order perspective, picking slip perspective, minimum quantity, on-hand quantity, compile everything and compartmentalize it into 1 week blocks. So each week of the year has a defining week number, and at the end of this week, or in this week, we have 37 of these coming in on a purchase order. So let's go and have a look at this particular line here. In this week, we have 4 coming in on a purchase order. We have another 7 coming in on a purchase order. We have -2 on a picking slip. We have another -1 on a picking slip. We have 24 on hand. So as of this week here, we will have a total of that in stock. So one can keep track of exactly what the requirements are based on purchase orders, based on hand purchase orders, picking slips, sales forecasts. If you're using the sales forecasting module, very, very powerful. And then you can utilize the features that are here to filter and to sort for whatever you are looking for. So as you can see, there's a substantial amount that the system is able to do. And don't forget, we're just an email away if there's something that you are looking for.